Hi, I'm Brand, and I love Hulu Christmas movies.
I'm Dan, and I despise Hulu Christmas movies.
I'm Alonzo, and y'all are pushing it. And this
is the Deck the Hallmark podcast.
Deck the Hallmark, it's his podcast. Brandon and friends host this podcast.
We hope you like this jolly podcast.
Hello, everybody.
Oh, boy.
Man, you know what? I think this is going to make what happened last week a little bit better. We're heading back to a ranch with a unicorn.
I mean, come on, what could go wrong?
Is that unicorn going to stab somebody in the eye? Then no. If the answer is no, it's better for this.
Yes, not on Shudder.
That's not on Shudder. It's not on Shudder. Alonzo, hi, buddy. How are you?
I'm terrific, thank you. I do enjoy this weekly excuse to dig into all of the Christmas movies of 2022. And I had to say, I was a little annoyed with the Hallmark folks for a second because they had very sneakily, without telling anybody, took the Thursday Christmas movies off of the movies and mystery schedule. But on the other hand, they have now slipped a second double feature Christmas thing happening Fridays on the main channel. So we're good.
Thank goodness someone can still watch weekly Christmas movies on TV with commercials. I was worried.
You say it with snark, but
with one button ad skip on Philo.
Oh my gosh,
no. You got it on the DVR.
That's
Unlimited
the
DVR,
way to do
one
it.
button ad skip, different story.
That's the way to do it. And you know what's really fun about the unlimited DVR is you can queue up when Three Wise Men and a Baby premiered and during the holiday season, and you can just kind of compare it. So you can, if you don't want to use the one button ad skip, you can just compare the ads. How have advertisements changed over the past?
I will say this: the commercials would have made this movie better. Like I had Hulu Premium, and I had I didn't get to watch any commercials.
I had commercials, and it didn't help, but It was respite. I'll say that.
That's true.
Last week, you had watched the movie before. This one you had not. You were going in blind.
I had not. Yes.
Okay. Had you seen? Wasn't there another Hulu one that you had seen, or no? Have you not gotten any?
I think there was like a Hulu Hanukkah movie that I started and then it didn't grab me, and so I didn't finish it. But
what happened? Hulu, they came onto the scene hard,
Happiest Season,
and now we're with a unicorn for Christmas.
They got lucky with that one. That was a Sony movie that was supposed to go into theaters, and then
COVID.
2020 happened, and then so Hulu lucked out. I think that was that's the exception and not the rule.
Gotcha.
All right.
Clearly.
But if Kristen Stewart wasn't a unicorn for Christmas, look out!
$5 stars for Alonzo.
She would elevate the material. I'm sorry.
Yes, well, of course. A unicorn? A unicorn for Christmas.
A unicorn?
Are you even?
Oh my God!
You're telling me a unicorn?
A unicorn? For Christmas?
I know that unicorn.
I will not have this slander.
I know that unicorn.
I know this unicorn.
That
just
takes us
because y'all
to
made yourselves watch all the Twilight movies, do not take that out on Kristen Stewart. She's done much better work since then.
Take the Tape. In case you haven't heard, Dan and I do a series called Take It to the Tape, which is a commentary track that you can purchase and listen along while you watch a movie, similar to Mystery Science.
We just ripped it straight off.
Actually, exactly
Ours
like
is more
that.
of a conversation.
It's a conversation.
Less zingers and more just conversation.
But March was Twilight month, and so jump in on that action if you so choose. After
Last one comes out this week
for Christmas. A Unicorn for Christmas originally aired on November 4th, 2022 on Hulu, and it went a little something like this. A couple of kids are talking about stars and unicorns, as you do. They go to look up at the stars. They do not see a unicorn constellation. Maybe next time. Then the little girl, her name's Izzy, says that I know that we'll be able to see it one day, except her and her family are moving away, and so she's never going to be with that other kid ever again. But they're moving out of state. They're moving to a farm. She's struggling with this. And so she doesn't even want to be at the farm, and apparently the farm is also a Christmas carnival spot or something. There is a guy who runs the Christmas carnival, and I think that he's
Mr. McClanahan.
letting them live there.
Their house is close
Their
by.
house is close by.
But their barn is where the petting zoo will be.
Right. So out of all of our hands, there's nothing we could do about that.
There's nothing, our hands are tied. There's nothing we could do.
That guy, he's a sketchball. I think is clearly a little bit of a
Yes.
Mr. McClanahan. One night, Izzy is outside and sees the unicorn star constellation. She notices also shining coming from one of the barns. So she opens the door, and Snowflake the unicorn walks out. A woman named Mrs. Carroll says, "I found this pony," and
Think about
Izzy's
Dr. John, but you can see her.
right.
That's what Mrs. Carroll is.
Izzy is like, I think you mean unicorn.
I think she's Ms. Carroll, actually.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Ms.
Ms.
Carroll. Excuse us.
She runs a traveling sleigh ride company and thought that Snowflake would be a good addition.
Who wouldn't?
Izzy sees the horn of the unicorn Snowflake, but everyone else just sees a standard pony. Izzy notices that all the other animals are behaving better. Unicorn magic? Who can say? She FaceTimes with her friend back home, Marco, from the beginning.
Polo.
And he says, "What's up with the horn?" He can see it. So she realizes that the reason why they can see it is because they believe in unicorns. Snowflake is a huge success with the kids that come to the Christmas carnival because they can see that Snowflake is a unicorn. All the kids are freaking out, and all the adults are like, "What's the big deal about the pony?" Mr. McClanahan, the dude running the carnival, tries to convince Izzy's dad to charge more for the magical pony rides after seeing the long line. But dad is like, "Nah, we told him one ticket. That's what we're going to do." So he decides to take matters into his own hands and steal the pony unicorn and take it on the road, just up the road, in fact. They show up and find out that Snowflake's stall is empty, and Izzy is heartbroken. Of course, all the animals start freaking out too. There's no more unicorn magic to keep them in line. So the bad guy, Mr. McClanahan, gets a dude named Earl. My name's Earl. To take Snowflake on the road, and he's charging $15 for people to see the unicorn. Problem is, only kids see the horn, and so parents get really mad for forking up 15 large to see a pony. So the family,
It's just $15. No one is charged $1,500 or $15,000.
The family finds out that Snowflake is just up the road thanks to social media. So Izzy and Max go to take the unicorn back, and for some reason, when the unicorn sees Izzy, everyone is now able to see that Snowflake is a unicorn. Aside from the bad guy,
Bad guys can't do it, no.
bad guy's still bad.
One of them comes around.
Yes.
Earl does, yeah.
So everything works out great with the carnival and the farm. Izzy is thrilled to wake up on Christmas to what I would say is a super snow compared to the
Yes.
flurries from earlier. Finds a letter from Miss Carroll saying that Snowflake is all hers now. And that, my friends, was a unicorn for Christmas.
We did it. I hate to correct anything in that because it was all gold, but to have a movie where the character says the name of the movie in the last line of the film, I feel like has to be.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
The girl looks up and
I
says, "A unicorn for Christmas." And that's how this
Yeah,
ends.
that's true.
Golf clap.
That's true. That's true. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back and we'll talk about a unicorn for Christmas here on Deck the Hallmark. Welcome back, everybody. We're talking about the sequel to Christmas Bloody Christmas, A Unicorn for Christmas. Let's break it down. And I'll start with my good friend Alonzo as he gives his hot take on a Unicorn for Christmas.
Yeah, my hot take is we have to stop letting Bran pick the movies.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, this was a toughie, and I have attuned myself to endure movies that, you know, operate in the realm of what we usually discuss on this program, these sort of like, you know, adult romances that are set at the holidays. And, you know, even if it's something like, you know, what was the second Christmas in Carolina was followed by, was it another Christmas?
Yeah.
Like even that one, it's like, I know what the shape of it is and I know what it's, but like, this is a kiddie Christmas movie. And I look, I got no beef with kid movies. I think a lot of them can be, you know, entertaining for all ages. They can have things to say about, you know, the human existence. This movie seems to be borrowing very heavily from a much better movie called Prancer, about a young girl whose staunch belief in livestock at the holidays changes the lives of a small town. And this movie,
so no one else in the town believes in livestock.
They don't believe that the reindeer that she found is one of Santa's reindeer.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So this movie felt like it was a lot of ideas from Prancer, a lot of ideas from the Polar Express, which Bran forced me to watch again last year. But beyond that, just mostly irritating.
You're right. This is like Prancer, but like on a lot of uppers, like just like, let's go. Yeah, this movie, don't hear what I'm not saying. Very bad movie. Very bad movie.
TW bonkers, if you will.
TW bonkers.
TW bonkers.
But I did enjoy myself.
God, stop it.
What? I did enjoy myself. It was ludicrous. It was wacky. But I liked the, you know, it was about a unicorn. It was about a little girl and a unicorn.
We know what it's about.
And not, it wasn't a love story. I thought that was nice. And yeah, super hokey, super dumb. Didn't hate it.
And again, when I say like the shape of these movies, I mean, there are all kinds of Christmas movies. I think we're trying to get into them, but this is the cheap Mar Vista formula, but applied to a kid Christmas movie. And I was not thrilled with that.
Yes. Yeah. It was what it was. And for what it was, I didn't hate it. Dan?
I'm starting to hate you a little bit. I got to be honest.
It's taken 5 years though, so I feel pretty good about that.
In 2018, when I watched A Rocky Mountain Christmas, I had no idea. I had no idea that I was like at sea level. Like I was at sea level. My head was above water with that movie. We are mining the depths of sheer disaster. Disaster movie month was last month. We missed A Unicorn for Christmas. This is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. It is a bargain basement Mar Vista movie. So Mar Vista is saving something for other movies. They're not emptying the chamber for A Unicorn for Christmas. It's unbearable. Guys, at one point in this movie, someone says, "Thank God it stopped raining," and it has not rained all movie. None of it makes any sense at all.
Maybe he says that every day.
Yeah. Thank God it stopped raining. All right, Jake, good talk, everybody.
3 months ago.
Guys, this is Christmas in Carolina, but we know how to put the camera on something and keep it still. Aside from that, it's the same. It is really bad. I'm talking, it is an abomination. I couldn't believe. I was like, Hulu, happiest season. I was devastated. This movie was just a root canal. It was so bad. None of it holds up at all. There's a whole constellation bit. We didn't really talk about that much. There's a unicorn, like some sort of unicorn TV show fever that starts this thing that we're supposed to buy into. The Christmas magic element of it, the lack of anybody trying to be Christmas at all. Oh my goodness, this is bad. This is an all-timer. It's an all-timer. I'm just letting you know. I watch a lot of these movies. This is all-time bad. It's all-time bad. You can't tell me you've watched something worse Christmas movie this year. There's no way. Right?
I mean, we did watch Another Christmas this year.
Yeah, but that one is shorter. And
Yes.
is that the one with 15 minutes of credits?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You give me that one over this one. This is 87 minutes chock full of what am I doing with my life?
And kombucha.
And kombucha.
We'll get there.
And kombucha. Let's get to the feels.
You had a
Alonzo?
good time. You should be ashamed of yourself. You have a problem. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah,
I maybe spent a little bit too long at a TW Bonkers last night. That's what we got.
I'm reminded of the words of one of our great living philosophers, searched my heart, found nothing. That's where I am on feels here.
Yeah, that's fair. More than fair. Don't give me this. You know how when the horn turns into a rainbow and it's spread throughout the sky and Christmas magic was had by all? You remember that? Come on. You kidding me right now? Come on.
You don't
Oh
want
my
you don't want
gosh.
me to say that. All right, I won't. I will bring up Earl. Probably the best part of the movie is Earl, I will say. Earl is on stage selling views of a pony for $15. And before he brings the pony on stage, he says, "Does it look like I have the face of a liar?" And someone from the crowd goes, "Mm-hmm." And he says, "I do not." And that's it. He moves right past it. But that was my favorite part of this movie.
Shout out that actor Lane Davis, who has been around. He was on the soap opera Santa Barbara, appeared in one of the very few indie comedies of the 80s to come out of Georgia, where he is from.
Okay.
A movie called Impure Thoughts. It's really great and impossible to find now. I looked him up. I was like, oh, I know who that guy is. And I couldn't believe he was in this movie, but I'm glad he's working.
Does it give you feels knowing that Hulu didn't put their branding on the poster? Does that help?
It does. I mean, I wouldn't.
Mar
put my
Vista,
name in
baby.
Mar Vista all the
Mar Vista
way.
through and through.
In bold. Early on, when the family arrives at the house, the dad is waiting on the porch for them, and the dog is with him. And he walks down the stairs, and he's like, I don't remember the dog's name. What's the dog's name?
Chipper. I don't know.
Chipper. Come on, Chipper. He's like, come on. And the dog sits there, and he gets down the stairs, and he looks back. He's like, come on. And the dog sits there. The dog never, ever comes with him. The dog knew to stay away from this movie. The dog knew to stay away from this movie. It's all you need to know.
Sense of smell. It's like how they know earthquakes are coming.
That's right. And somebody in the chat's like, Dan, you just watched Christmas Bloody Christmas and you think this is all time bad? Yes, you heard correct. This is way worse. Sorry, that's all I got.
It is worse.
Search my heart,
It
found
is
nothing.
worse qualitatively. I'll say.
Yes. Yeah.
I'll say that. Let's take one more quick break. We'll come back at the wait what and hello. Here on Deck Dog. Greetings and salutations. Don't be blinded by the magic of a unicorn. We're just talking about a unicorn for Christmas. And let's talk about the wait whats that might be found in this film. Alonzo.
There's none. Airtight.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of the all-time great screenplays. Okay, so from the get-go, this is not the apartment of people who are moving tomorrow.
No.
There's like one box in the kitchen, but everything, like the furniture, the stuff on the walls, like, no, y'all are not ready to move tomorrow. Like,
No.
and you would think that if there was one thing that the set designer or decorator of a low budget movie could get right, would be an apartment that is about to be moved out of. Because, like, how easy is that? You just put some boxes in the middle of the room.
Easiest set of your life, man.
Yes.
Like easy.
Throw a a moving blanket over the sofa. Bam, bam, you're good to go. But no, we don't even bother with that. The whole conversation about like, oh, I can't see the constellations, but I can see them. you can't see anything in New York City.
Thank you.
There's this thing called light pollution that when there's a lot of light on the low down in the ground, you can't see past it. Whereas if you're out in the middle of the sticks where they wind up, of course you can see all the stars.
Well,
that's the point of being in the sticks.
Where were you last 2 weeks ago when Brooks Darnell says he took the pictures from the Hubble telescope on top of the planetarium in Seattle?
Oh, well, it's that's real high, right?
They're in New York City, right? Like the city that never sleeps is literally its entire saying.
Yeah.
Bad.
The city where I think didn't Candy Crush recently send up a bunch of drones to do an ad in the middle of the air because that's all you can see.
Yeah.
All right. The timeline of this movie gets a little confusing.
A little?
A little. by which I mean all of it. The impression is that the day after they arrive, they are setting up for the carnival, and Mom is putting out her kombucha, which who wants that? But that's a whole other story. I looked it up. Kombucha takes 7 to 12 days to brew.
Yeah.
So unless she threw in antifreeze or something to cheat at it, I don't know what she's selling, but it ain't kombucha. We are meant to understand that the pony rides take off because kids know that this is a unicorn, and isn't that great? But when they show you the line of people waiting to get on the first time, it's all adults. And I'm like, okay, so a rural town is excited about pony rides because it can't be the unicorn part because these grown-ups can't later they remember, oh yeah, right, it's the kids, and then it's
kids one of those towns in Georgia where adults can't wait for the pony rides.
Yes, we've all heard of them. Okay, right. So the two mean boys tell the kid that going on this ride a bunch of times is a team tradition. First of all, where's the rest of the team?
I couldn't afford
that. We got two of them. Second of all, if they can write it over and over again, why do they immediately think that he's going to get sick writing it over and over again? Because I think if those rides are designed for anybody, it's for teen boys. They can just do that stuff all day.
It's not a loop de loop. It's a pretty straightforward ride.
Yeah, it's Momo the Monster is what we called it. They had it at Six Flags over Georgia when I was growing up. But yeah, it's one of those octopus things that spins around, but you're never upside down or anything. So I didn't get that. Then that scene is a wealth of wait what's. The parents see the kid on the ride and they know that he's doing something that he shouldn't be doing and that he'll regret it. How do they know this?
No.
How do they know that this isn't his first time riding the thing? How do they know that he has been suckered by these two kids into riding this ride that's going to make him sick, but not them? So many questions.
Gosh, the parents in this movie. As actors and parents.
A lot of questions. Earl is one of the highlights of the film, but why the bad guy suddenly takes this guy who has struggled to get single sentences out the entire movie is now suddenly entrusted not just with the unicorn at the other town, but with being a carnival barker. What makes you think that this guy has stage presence when the whole movie's
such a doofus? Go on the road with the pony.
Yeah, and he actually uses the word to be dazzling.
That's right. Yeah,
I mean he gives it his best shot, but I don't know where you intuited that was even in his wheelhouse.
Part of me feels as though they wrote this whole movie around the joke. It'll be like a dog and pony show without the dog. How do we write a movie?
A whole movie around that.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
And then my last one, the whole thing where when the unicorn is there, all the farm animals are very chill, but when it's out there, they're all running around in circles and stuff. And so it's I know how it's probably not that hard to get goats and sheep to mill about and be not erratic. Somebody is standing off camera and throwing a chicken.
Yes, thank you.
No, 3 or 4 times we get that shot. Somebody is just heaving a chicken into the air
Literally.
and letting the chips fall where they
Written
may.
down in my notes, it said, "Is there someone throwing chickens? Someone is chickens cannot fly that high. Someone is chucking chickens in the air."
I did not
Just
see a
chucking
no
them across the-
animals was
just-
harmed
you were too
thing at
busy
the end.
caught up in the magic of the unicorn brand. They're just being launched by hand across the sky, like in the thing. It's like, we got to get all these, and a chicken flies over this guy's head, and you're like, whoa, we got a bigger problem than
Listen,
we
man,
thought.
sometimes we lose things during war.
Oh
It is
my
what it is.
gosh.
It is what it is.
Someone's chucking chickens out there.
Oh, God. All right, that's all I
Um,
got.
I don't know the age difference between Izzy and Max, but I do know there's no world where those two go to bed at the same time. Moms are really like, you two brush your teeth and go to bed. I don't know. I feel
Well, they
like
got to get
Matt-
up for chorin, you know.
Yeah,
That's right. Yeah.
we talked about his buddies, Max's buddies, the basketball team. I do think they have a gambling problem.
Yeah.
They're like betting about if he's going to make one shot. They're betting on whether or not he's going to get a girl to, like, I don't know, walk with him. Like,
It
they're
is.
just betting on
It's a
stuff.
problem.
What's wrong with these kids? Why
Bro-
are they betting on everything?
Bro culture these days is
It's
they
a
just bet
compulsion.
on everything.
So the bad guy who obviously doesn't see the unicorn horn, doesn't believe that it exists, goes over, kneels down, and is talking to a little girl who's wearing glasses. And in the reflection of the glasses, for a split second, he sees the horn. I don't think that's how belief works.
No.
I don't think that's
This movie's
how
designed to
I don't
make you
think
ask
that's
the big philosophical
how
question.
reflections work. I don't know. I don't know if you will be able to see what somebody else is seeing in the reflection on the other side of their glasses. I don't know. It did make me go, wait, what? I don't know. I don't know what to do with it.
Of
I don't
all
know
the
what to do
things-
with it.
Of all the things in this movie.
Last thing I will say, everything else in this movie was essential and necessary, aside from the kombucha storyline. Why did they go so hard on this storyline of the mom wanting to sell the kombucha? No one wants the kombucha until the day before Christmas.
Her identity in Georgia is kombucha. Someone told this movie and the screenwriter, listen, no one's done a kombucha joke yet.
I don't even
No
know.
one's done
Was it played for laughs? I don't know.
You're the first to the kombucha joke. Well, you need to play it for all it's worth. No one's even heard of kombucha. You're going to be a hit.
Yeah, I think Brand's right. It's not even so much that it's a gag as much as it's an arc.
It is.
Yeah,
yes.
it's bad.
At the very end, people have had too many cookies, and so they go to kombucha. I don't know, man. I don't
If you
know.
want to induce vomiting, maybe. I don't know.
Ugh. That was such a weird storyline.
It
in
was.
this
They could have
movie.
chosen anything.
anything.
She could have had like some homemade craft that nobody wants to buy.
Yeah,
It was kombucha.
they went
with
hard
kombucha.
to it. Kombucha.
Yeah. I hate to do this, but we have to talk about the animal cruelty of it all. First of all, I don't know if you know this, petting zoos typically aren't the best, especially in the South. I am not here saying that Mar Vista did anything wrong, but if you hear of a middle of nowhere petting zoo in the South, you don't want any part of that. You don't want any part of that. I'm just letting you know right now. You want Alonzo's from Georgia. He knows exactly what I'm talking about. You don't want any part of that. At one point, our lead is just sitting on a turtle, just sitting on one, yeah, sure. And I got to be honest, Mistletoe Secret. What's the unicorn's name? What's the
Snowflake.
Snowflake. I'm gonna tell you right now, Snowflake ain't big enough to handle some of those kids in line. Just not. I was never meant to be a horse jockey. Some of those children are not meant to ride Snowflake. That is abuse. We are throwing chickens in the air. We're throwing them in the air. I don't care what you say. Animals were not treated with any respect in this movie. We're not. They were just like the dad. This family pulls up after having driven from New York City, and the dad's like, do you want to see the house? Sure. But you know what's better? The barn. Let's go to the barn so you can see all the animals that you're going to make be like manhandled for the next 2 weeks of your life. it's just not above board. It's not above board at all. We shouldn't be pulling for a petting zoo. That's all I'm saying. You ever been out of the speedway out there in Easley?
Of course I have.
Drive the track and go to the petting zoo? No, you do not. That is like, just get Sarah McLachlan singing in the background is all you need there. You don't want any part of that. You just don't. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, we did.
However, as bad as the animal cruelty is, they're only charging $1 for a pony ride. $1? They're charging $1? Is it 1983?
Yeah,
they're charging
for a
$1?
non-unicorn, that seems like a steal.
Yeah, that's a steal.
Yeah.
I mean, kids are going to get in line for just a regular pony for $1.
Bad guy wants to up it to $2. Can you believe it?
He's right here. He's right. Like, I hate to say it, but he's right here. There's no way around it. I do find it weird that the guy that makes only 10% of the profits is mad that the thing is doing well. You know, it's like, he's like, why are they selling so many tickets? That helps you financially. These basketball players are my favorite because no one in this movie's ever seen. Has anyone in this family ever seen a chicken fly? None of these kids have ever seen a basketball. They're shooting basketball on a goal that's a carnival hoop. They've clearly doubled the use of the carnival set to use as their pickup game hoop. But the best is they're like, oh, you guys play basketball? And they say this sentence. I rewound it twice. And they say, yeah, we're both on the JV high middle team. Now, look, I'm not here. I know I get a hard time. I get given a hard time on the show for being a basketball coach and bringing it up all the time. Fair. Anybody who ever went to high school knows there is no such thing as a JV high middle team. That is all of the teams combined into one. That's middle school, JV, varsity. The JV high middle team is what that is.
What if the school is called JV High and they're on the middle team?
Yeah. This school is for our students that academically quite aren't as gifted. We're calling it JV High is what we're calling it.
Well, it's short for Juan Valdez High.
That's right, Juan Valdez High. Yeah. That's good. No, look, I stand corrected on all of it. Yeah, I don't know why they're so hung up on the fact that they can't see the unicorn horn when it's making them money regardless. Like, since when has that been the barrier? If kids believe it, like, they're nefarious. Why do they care that they can't see this thing? I don't understand that. Taking money before you show the unicorn, quite a move. I've got two left, and I think they're both pretty important. I'll do one. The kids decide they're going to go to Green Pass, which is the town that they've taken the unicorn to. And they don't think their parents are going to help them. So they get on the tractor, and the son is in like 9th or 10th grade. The girl's in like probably 6th grade, 5th or 6th grade. And they're driving the tractor, and the tractor runs out of gas, and they're stuck on the side of the road. The dad pulls up. And he is mad, as any father would be. If I had a kid who was 13 years old and was driving a tractor on a main road, there would have to be a consequence. We'd have to talk about safety, and because I love you so much, I want to keep you safe. So he goes through this whole rant of like, how could you do this? It's unsafe. You could have died. You blah, blah, blah. It's so dangerous. He does all that. And then they said, well, how'd you know we were gone? He said, I heard you crank up the tractor. And then the teenager says, well, then why didn't you stop us? And his response was, I wanted to see how far you'd get. He's like, look, you could have killed yourself, but I was a little curious to see if my boy had it in him.
I was pulling for you.
I knew it was like a life or death, but I wanted to see you roll the dice, kid. Good job.
I'm a big fan of the straight story and that part in George Jones's life where Tammy took his car keys and he had to take the riding lawnmower to the liquor store.
I want to see if you can make it.
Out.
Yeah, I mean, you went ahead and cranked it up. You may as well see if you can make it. I mean, dangerous or not.
I didn't want to quash your, your get up and go.
And that, believe it or not, is all I have.
It's time for Hulu. It's where we talk about any questions that we still have that we'd like some answers to. Alonzo, Hulu to you.
Hello. I was thinking that, it would be really interesting if Ms. Carol was actually the Carol character that Kate Blanchett plays in the movie Carol, which is also a Christmas movie. And, like this is the end of her life now, dealing with the sleigh rides. That took me on a whole other path that I thought was really fun. The other thing, though, is that now that the kid has full custody of this unicorn, I'm imagining this sort of like ET-ish sequel where, either the government or nefarious people like come in and try and like nab it for science, because let's face it, it's like one of those Hallmark movies where they find out at the end that like the friendly guy in town with the beard actually is Santa Claus. And they're sort of like, huh, I think that's it. Like, you have a unicorn. That's right. Major. That's huge. That's surely like, you are all like about to be kidnapped by the cartel. Something terrible is going to happen because you are in possession of a mythical creature that no one else has.
It's world news. World news.
Yes.
It's,
and then they're all like, huh.
All right, cool.
Okay.
Guess we'll make a little extra coin on the side.
See you at the petting zoo.
Maybe we'll do $2. Maybe $2.50.
I'm gonna buy my own petting zoo. It's like that guy that's like, if I ever win the Powerball, I'm gonna screen in the porch. You better believe it. May even put a fan in that bad boy. You never know.
We bought a zoo. $200
million, Dale.
We bought a unicorn.
You'll pay somebody else to screen in that porch.
I think that this unicorn show is a cult.
Yeah. That show is the weirdest part of this.
Weird. They don't give us a lot of information.
It was weird that they thought we needed them to be involved in some sort of unicorn thing beforehand for it to work.
Like if there wasn't a unicorn show
cartoon,
then this whole thing falls apart.
Yeah, we wouldn't believe it. But my biggest one is a pretty big, part of this movie is the fact that they move. I believe they buy a farm, but like one of the conditions of buying this farm is that this guy gets to keep his carnival on the farm.
Yeah, that's one of mine for sure.
Gets to keep the carnival on the farm.
And he owns the land, they say it.
Okay, but the family has to run the carnival. But the guy whose carnival it is only gets 10% of the carnival.
Yes.
It
was a mess.
Always read the fine print.
That's right.
An absolute mess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know who's who. I don't know what is what. I would love any sort of explanation.
Like the worst timeline of Minari. This is like what Minari looks like in Idiocracy. 1,000. That joke was for Alonzo.
No, I know, but I love when you guys are happy.
Yeah, that's right.
Academy Award winner.
Academy Award winning Minari. That's
I can't believe
great
it.
film. Yeah, I do have one, and it is why, like, what is it within the magic of the unicorn that allows that thing to go full rainbow at the end?
Sure.
Because
it's the amount of belief, maybe.
That's what I thought. But at the carnival, they are surrounded by a gaggle of kids that are all looking at it, and it's just standard horn.
And
but
it changes
when
colors.
they go get it and they bring it back, maybe the adults can see it, but it's like full rainbow.
It almost felt like the
unicorn rainbow all the way,
double. When my guess is the unicorn was feeling pretty down after being pony napped, and when what's her name?
Sure.
Izzy shows up, Snowflake is like, wow, that's more than just belief. That's family. And that's
Hear your family.
That's exactly right.
Yeah,
that causes it to go full bore.
Full bore. That's right.
I don't know. That's just a guess on my end. That's just a guess on my end.
We did it.
We did do it, everybody. Congratulations. Another wonderful time in the books. We're going to be back next week, everybody, with a movie that I can't find right now. But Vamp real quick, Dan. Vamp real quick.
The thing about Minari that's so great is, I'm sorry. The best that I possibly could there. It's a unicorn movie.
Ooh, up next is A Christmas Mystery on HBO Max.
Ooh.
A Christmas Mystery on HBO
This
Max.
has got to be better than what we just did. Got to be.
We'll find out. We'll find out. All that and more is coming, everybody, here on Deck the Hallmark. Merry Christmas.
Deck the Hallmark's a Bramble Jam podcast is produced by Aaron Shea. For more information on Deck the Hallmark, you can go to deckthehallmark.com. For more information on the Deck the Hallmark family, you can go to bramblejamplus.com. Deck the Hallmark is presented by Philo TV. For a free trial of Philo, go to philo.tv/DTH.